Hello and welcome to Yashvi's Kitchen. This is my first video ever, so please be nice. Today we're making strawberry tart, and it's basically like a biscuity, custardy, tart. So we start with 160 grams of all-purpose flour, which is maida, then 70 grams of sugar, and a little bit of salt, just 1 or 2 grams, and just mix that up properly. Also, if you need cup measurements, they will be in the written recipe, which will be in the description box. So next we put in about 115 grams of butter. Okay, make sure that it's very cold and it has to be cubed. So for the tart base, what we are trying to achieve is getting a very biscuity type of crust. And so for that you have to essentially crumble up the butter. It will be very cold, so you have to use your hands and completely crumble it up so that it becomes a kind of cohesive mixture, and do it until it holds together. And then after that, take an 8-inch tart pan and essentially place the crumble into the pan directly. You're not supposed to turn this into a dough because we're trying to make it more biscuity. And then you basically just have to press it in the way you would for a cheesecake. If any of you have experience with making a cheesecake, you basically just have to press it in the way you're doing with a cheesecake. Don't worry, it doesn't have to be perfect. And then you have to chill it in the fridge for about 20 minutes so that it sets properly. Once that's done, then take a fork and poke holes into the tart base. Make sure that you're poking the holes thoroughly, so they should cover the entire tart properly. Of course, don't make way too many holes, but just make sure that it's covered properly. Okay, and now it's time to bake the tart shell. So here we need to weigh down the tart shell for half of the baking time. So just take some aluminum foil and pour a bunch of beans which you may have at home. You can use chana, you can use chole, you can use pretty much anything that you have at home, and just pour it over so that it's heavy enough to cover everything. And that's about it. All you have to do after that is adjust everything properly, make sure that all of the areas of the tart are covered, and then bake at 175 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes with the weights. And once that's done, remove it from the oven. Just carefully take the aluminum foil and use the aluminum foil itself to wrap up all of the beans that were there, and take it out. And once that's done, then carefully place it back. The thing will still be hot, so just be careful about that. Bake it again at 175 degrees for 10 minutes without the weights. Once that's done, just carefully take it out of the oven and let it cool. Now for the strawberry jam or the strawberry sauce, cut up the strawberries into as small pieces as you can. Also, a side note, this was supposed to be funny, but I'm so nervous about filming my first voiceover that it's just not. Anyway, this is about 150 grams of strawberries and 50 grams of sugar. Mix them up and macerate them, which is just keep them for 15 to 20 minutes. Now onto the custard. So take about 400 ml of milk and add about 100 grams of sugar into it and mix it up. You don't have to make sure that it dissolves completely, but try to mix it up enough so that it's mixed. Then add a corn flour slurry, which has about 35 grams of corn flour and just a little bit of extra water, and mix it up. It will slowly start thickening. It will not thicken as fast as this video is showing, but make sure that it reaches this kind of a thick consistency. It will keep thickening as it gets colder, so don't make it way too thick. Once that's done, to cool it, pour it into a bowl and use cling film to cover it. But make sure that you're covering the top of the custard as well, not just the bowl, because if you don't do this, then the custard will form a thick layer on top, which we don't want. Now this is what the macerated strawberries will look like once they are done. The sugar will have released lot of water, and then instead of adding any extra water, you just use the water that's released from the strawberries and the sugar and the whole mixture, and you put that into a saucepan. And to make it a little bit more tart, it might become a little too sweet, so to make it a little more tart, all you can do is add squeeze half a lemon into it and just keep it boiling. It will take a genuinely very long time. It took me about 11 to 15 minutes to do it. And once you reach a point where the strawberries have been softened enough, then you can use a masher and just mash everything up, so the strawberries keep getting softer and softer. Because in the end it just has to be like slightly mashed, and it'll have a nice strawberry type of texture. Here, watch me struggling with the masher, because there's always that one part which just gets stuck and it just does not come out. And yeah, so here is what this looks like once it's near to being done. It's not totally done yet, but it's getting thicker, as you can see over here as I'm trying to show to the camera. And yeah, basically this is about it. Just let it keep going. This is how thick it should become. You can actually keep it going even more. I was running out of time, so that's the reason why I didn't do that. You can even keep it going even more, because this will, even if it seems like it's thickened up enough, it will still release more liquid later also. So yeah, this is your strawberry jam. If you're feeling too lazy to do this, you can just use store-bought strawberry jam instead. Okay, so this is the tart shell that has been cooled, and now we're at the possibly easiest part, which is assembly. So just put all of the custard in, and you can just spread it around with your spatula. The other thing that you can do is, if you have one of these offset spatulas, it will spread everything really well. But if you don't, it's fine, you can use a spoon. So I'll just show you how to do it with a spoon also. It's pretty easy, just smoothen it out. It doesn't have to be way too smooth, because the jam will go on top of it, so it doesn't matter in the end. And once again, it doesn't have to like look very perfect right now, because the way we decorate the strawberries will make it look like the showstopper that it is. So now for the strawberries, all you have to do is cut them up vertically, so slice them vertically, and then all you have to do is arrange them like as if they were flowers. So just follow what I'm doing here. You can watch this multiple times if you want to. It's quite easy to just arrange it like this. The most that will happen is your hands will get a little slippery. You'll have to wash your hands a little bit and then start doing it once again with slightly drier hands. And yeah, that's about it. And all you have to do then is keep it to set in the fridge for about 1 to 2 hours minimum. You can keep it overnight also if you want to. And then the next day, to remove it, just put the whole thing on top of a bowl, then undress it, place it on a plate, and now watch me struggle to cut this piece, even though I've been making this tart for 3 years. I guess some things do not get easier. And then you can, even if it breaks, it's fine, honestly. It tastes good, it looks good even if it breaks. Here's what the final slice looks like. Now bite into it and experience what happiness feels like for the very first time. This was it. If you have any questions or suggestions, please comment them down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and goodbye.